Hello and thank you for joining us today at Distracted by Life. Our podcast is all about making change within yourself and your relationships. We share conversations, stories, and explore ideas coming from our lifelong journey of the high points and especially the low points where we learn to face our fears or cope with pain, loss, and failure. We do this in a discovery quest to establish patterns around our past and understanding whether we are tripping up from our past or being held hostage by it. We work on identifying ways to move forward, aligning our core values, and unlocking the keys to self-awareness, self-acceptance, self-compassion, and letting go of what is not serving you positively in life. A better you is always there, ready to explore in a new world. So let's begin. A powerful benefit of close relationships is having others there for us when things are going right in our lives. Research shows that the act of communicating positive events that happen to us with others is associated with increased positive effect and well-being. This is above and beyond the impact of the positive event itself. Additionally, when our news is met with a particular response style, the benefits are enhanced even further. So, what are these response styles? Well, today, Amal's going to explore each of those with us. Hello and welcome, Amal.
Hello. Thank you, Dan. Happy to be here to explore the different response style that can be revealed in relationships. Studies have shown that if we frequently employ the active constructive style, our friends, partners have greater intimacy and higher relationship satisfaction than partners who use other styles.
What is active constructive response style? That's actually hard for me to say. What is active constructive response style? And how do we use it when others, share the good news with us?
To make it easy for you, let's refer to it with ACR. So ACR, active constructive response. Well, glad you asked. There are 4 distinct ways of responding, and I have a feeling you probably be familiar with them, but never knew how to give it each a name, or maybe in the context of how they're going to be described today. So we will explore each, including the active constructive style, also known as ACR. The first one, active constructive response. This response style is the most beneficial to relationships. Quality and is defined by reacting enthusiastically, asking questions, showing genuine support or concern, and interest in the positive news. Their partners are even more enthused than they are about the event. The characteristic feature of this style is enthusiastic support, asking questions, showing interest. Known also as the capitalizer, the style associated with capitalization, a sort of magnification of the positive experience, more like savoring the good news. How to show up that way for someone when they're sharing someone like a good news that matters to them is basically you show authentic interest, validation, understanding to the person sharing the news with you. The benefit when we are showing up with an active constructive response is it strengthens relationship, whether in marriages, in co-worker support, in friendship, in all aspects that falls under the relationship building arena, basically. The second one.
Hang on. Do you have an example?
Let's say I come home and I share with you, today at work, I had a fabulous day. So I was really...
I'm saying, like, that's awesome. What happened?
Yes, I'm sharing.
I'm asking questions and I'm showing.
You're showing interest.
Enthusiasm.
So I have a great day and I have a phenomenal conversation with my boss today, and I'm all excited and I feel really good about it. Your response to me met with interest. You want to know more. You're asking questions. Basically, what went on? Oh, that's great, honey. This is really good news.
This is why you've got this job. This is why you deserve this job.
Yes. Yeah. So you showed interest. You validated the fact that I was acknowledged in the workplace by my manager, and you're happy with me, and you're also savoring that good news. That same goes, let's say I got a bonus for example, and I'm sharing that, they increased my bonus and this is what I got, so and so. You are actually happy for me. You're showing interest. You see hard work pay off, whatever, versus the negative response, which we were going to cross those when
so ACR, active enthusiasm, all positive. Okay.
Yes. The second one is passive constructive response. This response refers to providing quiet, understated support. Partners may be happy for the other person, but don't make a big deal out of the positive event, leaving the sharer to think, okay, my partner is usually silently supportive of me. They might not say much or, showing that high energy vibration, but I know they are happy for me. We may fall into this response style when we are busy, distracted, or for whatever reason may just not be super amped for our partner or the other person sharing the good news with us. We may say cool, great, or without further emotional engagement. We may think we are being supportive, but it's a lukewarm response style, has been known to be the most detrimental to relationship quality. The characteristic feature of this style is basically, as I mentioned earlier, it's quiet and understated. And it's known as, very familiar word, I'm pretty sure, the buzzkill. The downside of this response is most destructive to relationship. When you're always showing up and kind of being the person who, the buzzkill of every news and every good news and every gathering and in a group, then that's what happens.
So we take the same thing. You come home, you say, Dan, I had an awesome day at work today. And I go, that's nice, honey. I'm happy for you.
Zero emotional.
I give you support.
Yes.
I'm happy for you.
Very downplayed, very understated. It's the lukewarm. So, yes. A lukewarm response is telling the other person, okay, sure, yeah, okay, whatever.
Well, I learned something new today so far, so please
buzzkill.
Carry on, because I'm not quite happy with my responses so far.
So the third one is passive destructive response. So did you notice that there is an active constructive response? The other one we spoke is passive constructive. Now we're talking about passive destructive response. The passive destructive response, in this style, the responder may change the topic and basically seem uninterested in the positive news that's being shared, or completely shift the focus of the conversation to something else or even to themselves. Essentially, they co-opt and hijack the conversation. And the characteristic of this style is ignoring the event, shifting the focus completely away from the event or to themselves. It's kind of, this one is known as, the one-upper. Mm-hmm. The downside is co-opt the conversation. You change the topic. You turn the focus away from the share.
So you come home. You say, honey, I had an awesome day at work. And I say, that's nice, but listen to what happened to me today. Basically, I hijacked your conversation.
Yes, you gotta one-up me somehow. Don't we have a lot of those in the workplace? I actually experienced this on a daily basis. We actually have
a lot of those. Wow. Okay, so I have to avoid passive destructive response. I have to avoid passive constructive response. Is that it?
Well, that is another one.
Oh, there's one more.
The last one. This specifically, the passive destructive response.
Yeah.
I literally experienced this on a daily basis at work, in the workplace.
Oh, with your workmates, yeah.
Yeah. There is always, when they come and say, hey, how are you? And they start the conversation, and all of a sudden you're responding to it genuinely. And then all of a sudden that person hijacked the response you just made and gotta show that they one up you. So if you say I'm juggling quite a bit of tasks today. Oh, let me tell you about oh my God, I'm doing this.
But isn't that the whole purpose of them walking up to you? Ideally, is they just want to vent about their own job.
No, they want to show their self-importance and how they are doing. They're involved with a lot more tasks than you. They're being trusted with a lot more than you. They know a lot more than you. This is the one-upper. The one-upper always want to make sure to minimize the other person experience hijack the conversation, change the focus to themselves, and make themselves the center of the conversation, the one-upper.
Passive destructive response.
Yes.
Okay.
So the fourth one and the last one is the active destructive response. So we have a constructive active response and we have an active destructive response. So the active destructive response involves shutting down the positive news by pointing out potential holes or problems in a well-intentioned yet often misguided effort to protect the sharer or the person. We usually think we are being helpful when we respond this way, but really what we're doing is pinpointing out the potential downside of an otherwise good event. And in the essence, we are squashing our partner's or our friend's joy.
Okay, I need an example of this one.
The characteristic feature of this is squashing the event, known as killjoy. Very familiar term.
Yeah.
Downside is focusing on the negative leads to embarrassment and guilt. So let's say you coming to me today and I said, you know what? Such a productive day I did. I went out, I went to the, government office, took care of these documents, handled this, submit that, went to the grocery store, picked up some couple of ingredients for dinner tonight. I'm going to make a really good dinner today. I have a recipe in mind. I also, made a stop on the way to so and so and so. So what happened was my response to you is, okay, nice, honey. But didn't I tell you do realize you just these were not the priority today. And we talked about what today was supposed to be. We were supposed to do some podcasting, this and so I'm squashing all the activity that you felt that you done that was actually productive in your day. And I'm saying, well, there are other things that still haven't been done. The list is this and that and that. Or the opposite. Let's say you're sharing good news that you are going to make a career shift and you're excited about your career shift. And then I came up with the killjoy here and say, you do realize this is quite risky. There is inflation, economy is low and all that stuff. And you want to start now? Now is the time for you to this career transition. Why?
Wow, this is like a regular conversation that we have every time I bring happy news. Okay, no, it's not. But that's pretty, I can see the destructive part in that. That really does deflate someone's joy.
Yeah, it deflates them, and then it just leads to guilt and embarrassment because someone is saying, it's almost like, I don't want to say it, but it's almost like the person is talking and saying, you're an idiot? Are you serious? You're thinking of this right now?
Well, it's going to stop me from either bringing you happy news that I feel is happy, or it's going to slow down any time that I have, something happy to say.
Yep, exactly that. So, of course, not all good news is created equal. And there may be sometimes when pointing out the negative or bringing a person we care about back down to earth from an unsafe or unrealistic idea might be warranted, right? However, really, a steady stream of tempered enthusiasm or seemingly constructive criticism can take a toll on the relationship if our partner does not feel supported, or even if it's all they hear from us is the negative, right? So we can likely all afford to be more deliberate in ways we respond to others. As small changes towards active constructive response style can build a great deal of trust and connection in relationships.
Okay, well, so far I'm quite interested here. And I'm going through a bunch of events in my head that happened with these different response styles when they showed up, whether at me as the sharer or noticing others, showing up in some of these styles. So I guess, how do we practice active construction responses, ACR? How do we practice ACR in our lives?
So basically think about it this way. Choose someone in your life with whom you are close, okay? Start paying attention to how you respond to them when they relay good news. That could be your son, your daughter, your wife, brother, whoever. Notice any pattern, especially when you find yourself tending towards styles other than the constructive style, other than the active constructive style. resolve to respond to this person's good news in an active and constructive manner. Active meaning you're emotionally engaged. Constructive, you're not stepping into the buzzkill.
But it has to feel genuine to you.
Yes.
It has to feel authentic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you want to stay away from killjoy. You want to stay away from the buzzkill. And you want to stay from basically, what was the other, the one-upper.
Yeah.
And you want to stay within the capitalizer. That is the one where the active constructive style, where you're letting the good land and you actually celebrating and savoring the good
with
news
sincerity.
with sincerity with the other person. Find at least 3 opportunities to use the active constructive response with that person. Reflect on what it feels in yourself in relation to the other person to use the active constructive response, and kind of ask yourself these questions. In what ways was it challenging to modify your response style in this way? Because sometimes we are filled with negativity and bias. So in order to show up genuinely with the other person, there is challenges because it's not our baseline and it's not our natural stand. So we have to adapt and modify our responses to others. So in what way you find it challenging to modify your response? How did your partner respond to you when you reacted in an active, constructive response way? Did you notice anything change in your relationship dynamic? Because over time, when you are using the ACR, the active, constructive response, the dynamic of the relationship changes. How do you see the change from being a buzzkill or joy kill or the one-upper to now being in the person who capitalize these good news with your partner or your colleague or your peers or your family member? How can you resolve to use more active, constructive response with this person and with others in the future? So how do you resolve? How do you come up with intentionality of showing up and responding in an active, constructive response way all the time? And if you don't, how do you catch yourself to course correct your response? My final thought is that also notice active, constructive response in others. When you are in a setting in whatever, in your social engagement or whatever it is, also notice that in others. Many of us have those people who naturally excel at helping us capitalize on the positive event in our lives. When we are feeling particularly supported by a fellow active, constructive responder, let this person know just how impactful the response to you, the response was for you. Consider expressing actually gratitude for their support and for the role they played in your life. We do have these friends that we enjoy talking to and we love and we appreciate and cherish the relationship because it's how they support us, how they show up in our life. Let's express gratitude when they impact our life in a very positive way and celebrate with us. With that said, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did. Until next time, you make the journey worthwhile. Back to you, Dan.
Well, thanks, Amal. And I like that one. That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Amal. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us here at Distracted by Life. If you're interested to learn more, check out other podcasts, of course, or hop online to Amal's website at amalcandido.com, where she talks about her coaching world covering life, leadership, and mindfulness, including links to popular podcasts and to her books as well. And with that said, stay tuned for our next episode. And from Amal and myself, thanks again, and talk to you soon.